Hello there, everyone. This is Dan Roodt for the Free West Media YouTube channel. I'm very honored to be talking to Unathi Kwaza. She's quite a famous personality on social media, and she has said quite a few controversial things recently, or she had some response from them. And please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Just press the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner. So good morning, Unathi. How are you?
I'm all right. And how are you?
I'm fine, yes. It's a lovely, sunny
Monday.
autumn day here in Johannesburg. Are you down in Cape Town?
Yes, it's the same here. It's beautiful weather.
Okay, great. Well, sunny South Africa. Yes, a lot of people elsewhere in the world are not that lucky. Have you ever been? Have you ever lived in Europe or spent some time there?
No.
Okay,
no.
well, yeah.
I only recently went to the US.
To the US?
Last year in August. Yeah, last year in August. And it was beautiful in Seattle, Washington State.
Oh, really? I've never been to. Yeah, I've never been to the West Coast, and certainly, well, I'm also quite curious about Seattle and that whole part of the world.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a very wealthy city, Seattle.
Absolutely.
Because you've got Microsoft there and Starbucks and
Boeing.
And Boeing, yes, yeah. Boeing Seattle, yeah.
Absolutely. It's beautiful.
Okay, well, let's launch into talking about, apparently you sent out a tweet. Well, what did you say in the tweet?
I said, only stupid people cannot understand why a white South African, when they're angry at a black person, wouldn't use, I said the word kafir. We're not supposed to say it, but I think it's ridiculous not to say it. It's the K word, but it's kafir. The word is kafir.
Yes.
So I said that only someone who's stupid would not understand why to retaliate against a black person, a white person would use that word. So the reason why I'm saying that is that, I mean, from the president of South Africa to his cabinet, most of his cabinet ministers, to the parliament, our parliament is a circus, and people in parliament don't understand the constitution. People in parliament don't understand that minorities in South Africa have a right. It's enshrined in the Bill of Rights. It's also enshrined in the Constitution, which is the highest law of the land. And we have people who swear to hold the Constitution, to uphold the Constitution, but they don't understand what the Constitution says. They don't understand Mandela's dream of a free South Africa, of a rainbow South Africa. And they see white people as people who owe black people. They see white people as Afrikaners are seen as scum, basically. You, as an Afrikaner, yes. As an Afrikaner, you don't have a right in this country. They want your money, they want your taxes that you pay, and they want, in a way, they do want your skills, because look at Eskom and the shambles that it's in. There are engineers who happen to be white, who would like to contribute by fixing Eskom, but obviously the vitriol that comes from that, people start saying, black professionals start saying that, oh, make Eskom. I had Machela Koko saying that government, the new CEO at Eskom wants to make Eskom white again.
Oh, yes, I saw that, yes.
Yes. I mean, for someone who's supposed to be in jail, as far as I'm concerned, at least be prosecuted criminally for his role in the corruption in Eskom. For him to say that we're making Eskom white again, the new CEO is making Eskom white again, it just shows that the levels of hatred that white South Africans have to endure in this country. So my tweet was basically saying that I understand why when a white person is angry at a black person, they would use such a word. Of course, you're not supposed to use such a word, because if you're a decent human being who believes in equality, in equal rights, and that we're all equal before the law, you shouldn't use such terms. And luckily for me, I do have white friends. I interact, whether it's in business or work or related stuff, even like just friends that I meet every day, whether it's on Twitter or in person. Uh, I mean, these are people who never use that word, who see no reason to use that word, no matter how angry they are at a black person, because it's just not a decent thing to do. So what I was saying is, it makes sense to me. I mean, look at South African Human Rights Council, the way they conduct themselves. I call them, they police Afrikaners in South Africa. They police white people in South Africa, and government is encouraging them. And human rights is supposed to be about human rights, irrespective of whose rights they are. It can be an Indian person, can be an Afrikaner whose rights are being infringed upon, and it happens all the time in South Africa. Look at the BEE. Look at the fact that your child or your grandchild, if you are white or Afrikaner, doesn't have really good prospects in this country unless you are wealthy enough to send them away to Australia or to the US or the UK or Canada. So
Yeah.
those
I
countries.
saw a case not so long ago where a girl, her mother was a doctor, and but a single parent, and she wanted to become a doctor too, and she couldn't get, she couldn't get into the medical schools in South Africa, and then she studied the BSc, and for 6 years she went on studying and trying to get into medical school, but because she was white, she couldn't. And then eventually she applied in Europe, and now she's studying medicine at the University of Riga in Latvia. So we have to go overseas to foreign places where we don't speak the language even, in order to get training.
That's the racism I speak of. And someone will say, no, it's not racism. Black people need their opportunities and all that. I mean, if as a black person, after 26 years of all these policies that have been that have tried to make your life better, and if you haven't grabbed that opportunity, I mean, it just means that you're just a loser. It just means that you're not working hard enough, and government is not going to do it for you. The policies that are in place, which are against white people, white businesses, and all that, those policies are not going to help you. You just stayed because you want free things from taxpayers, and we really should be looking then into these policies. We know the results. Milton Friedman says we should judge a policy by its results, not its intentions. The government's intentions are always like good. At least that's what they're saying. Look at the new policy. They want expropriation of land expropriation without compensation.
EWC, expropriation without compensation. I mean, isn't that absurd?
Something as ridiculous as that. It's legalized theft. They want to take your land, and I don't understand white people, for instance, who are for Ramaphosa. He will prove to be the worst president this country has seen since 1994.
Well, I think so too. I think he's a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Absolutely.
And if you pick up some of the things that he said, also against whites, I think there was a thing in the Citizen about a year or two ago where he said, there should be no whites running businesses. Only blacks should be running businesses.
He said it recently, actually, in KZN. He said that the time for minorities to be running and controlling business is over.
Exactly, that's the one.
Yeah. I mean, it's recent. He has said before in 2014, when he was campaigning for Jacob Zuma to be president again, he said that if people voted the DA, apartheid would be brought back. There's no way in this country, even if a white person could be president, there's no way that apartheid could be back. I mean, unless you don't understand our constitution, unless you don't understand the Bill of Rights. And here we are talking about the Constitution, and Ramaphosa was one of those people who were there when it was constructed, and yet he's the one, I think, that seems to be trampling upon the same Constitution. And minorities have a right in this country. As pay your taxes, are good citizens. You do your best to create jobs and all those things. You contribute positively to this country. So if a politician like Ramaphosa or anyone in the ANC sees you as a threat to Black people, where do they get that? It's all in the past as far as I'm concerned. They try to focus in the past, and yet South Africans want a better country. One of the my favorite economists in the US is Thomas Sowell. He says that the past happened. The past happened. All we can do is to create a future that's better for everyone, to enjoy. And so
Yeah,
when I say that,
I was actually just talking before I interview now. I was talking to somebody else, an Afrikaner lady who was kind of 8.5 months pregnant, and then her husband got killed in a farm murder, and she had to do the funeral, and 2 weeks later she had to give birth to her child, and she never had the time to think about the past. She just had to adapt immediately to her new circumstances. And she says, but she tells me now, but I went through all that trauma, but it seems to me the country cannot do it. The country cannot move forward. It's kind of stuck in the past.
It's the politicians and people in mainstream media who are holding us hostage, so to speak. We can't move forward as a people because they keep on banging on the message that white people did this, white people stole the land. Malema will tell you that, and yet, where is the evidence of all this? I mean, we've had the land repatriation, land reform for the past 20 years or so, and yet it's not because of white people that we still have a demand of land. It's because of urbanization. Look at what is happening in the Eastern Cape. You have a government that's totally incompetent to run. I mean, look at Mthatha today. Mthatha, Butterworth, Queenstown, all those, Port Elizabeth, all those places. I've already mentioned King Williamstown or Grahamstown, and all those places.
Yeah, at one time they didn't have water in Grahamstown. It's a university town.
Absolutely. It's so small, and if you zoom into the whole story of Grahamstown, you can. I mean, I read somewhere that 70%. They are like not 70%. They're like 40% or 50% over staffed. So what happened? The ANC, you campaign for the ANC, and they guarantee you jobs. And when you become a mayor, you have to employ your friends who brought you into power to campaign for you. So that's how all the provinces that are run by the ANC, that's how they function or dysfunction, if you ask me. Because look at, I don't know if you know, I've been running a food funding.
I saw something like that, yes.
Yes. So I'm getting more people from Gauteng who are hungry, who want food. And even the food parcels that government says they are giving, they're not going to people that need them. They're probably going to a politician and their friends. And it's wrong, it's immoral. But these are things that the ANC chooses to do. I haven't heard Ramaphosa speak out or calling the ANC to expel these thieves. And yet you're telling me that white people are the problem in this country. How are they the problem? I mean, today we're still talking in the Eastern Cape about 4,000 schools who still have pit toilets. And yet from 2013, we've had children drowning in human fishes in such a disgraceful manner. And tell me, how are white people responsible for this? Why is it difficult for a black-led government to take responsibility for what they do and what they fail to do for black people? So this is why I say the things that I say. And yes, I do get death threats. Someone said that if it was in the 80s, I would be like necklaced. So when you necklace someone, you put a car tie around the neck. You put petrol.
I seem to have lost your sound there.
No.
Oh.
No, I'm just.
You are emotional about that. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's a terrible thing that's happened in this country. And, Winnie Mandela made that statement that, people should use those methods, but I think it's barbaric and it doesn't help us at all.
Yes. So that's why I say the things that I say, because most people are shy. Most people are afraid. I suppose maybe you lose someone may lose their job. I have nothing to lose. We've lost already in this country because of the ANC. So we really have nothing to lose. All we can do is to keep speaking out and reminding them that in 1994 they promised a better South Africa. In 1994 they told us that we are now a rainbow nation. So when they start ostracizing people who speak out against the atrocities, I mean, who can forget what happened in Marikana? Who can forget what happened at Life Esidimeni? No
that
person
Life
should die.
Esidimeni thing was, both of those incidents, but Life Esidimeni was,
and no one has been held
that's sort of on the same level as Stalin's gulags. I mean, it's just incredible.
How do you start?
142 people who were starved to death in a mental asylum.
I mean, who does that? Who does that? So why, how are white people responsible for that? People don't want to respond. They just want to make threats. And I mean, I don't care about that. What I care about is South Africa and its people. So that's why I continue saying the things that I say. So I was saying to you that most people who need food happen to be in Gauteng, and Gauteng has been in the hands of the ANC since the dawn of democracy. And what is there to what does Gauteng have to show for it? If you look at Johannesburg, for instance, in the 80s, how it looked compared to today. Today it's a dump basically.
Yeah, and, I mean, I grew up in Johannesburg more or less, and I used to go to the city, to movies and that sort of thing, and for shopping, when I was young. And now it's a complete slum. It's completely run down. I mean, and how
Absolutely.
on earth could that happen? It was the Manhattan of Africa. It was one of the most beautiful cities in the world.
Yeah, look at Bloemfontein, what they've done to Bloemfontein. Look at Port Elizabeth. Look at Durban. I mean, Durban is supposed to be the hub of tourism in this country, but look at the main city, the inner city. It's a dump because the ANC has chosen not to deploy people who have skills.
Exactly.
They only want a black person.
Yeah.
And they only want someone who's in their good books. It doesn't matter to them that
I mean, I heard that immediately when they took over the municipalities, they fired all the town planning people and the engineers. So the towns and the cities ended up not having water and not having any planning whatsoever.
Look at what the community of Harrismith had to do, because there's no drought in Free State, but the water can't go from the dam to your tap at home, and yet you're expected to pay your rates by the city. I mean, such things. And I heard last night that it's because there's more money for comrades to have when there are tanks to supply this water. So someone gets a contract, and yet we have pipes that have been there during apartheid. Why can't they maintain them and make sure that the water is able to get to travel from the dam to your tap? So it doesn't make sense to me why such incompetence. I mean, listen to the Auditor General's reports at any given day. You just wonder, why are these people not in jail? They are thieves. They destroy the country. Why are they not charged even with terror? Not terrorism. What is the highest charge? Treason. These are
Treason,
people who are
yes,
destroying.
yes.
Yes, these are
High
people who are
treason,
destroying this country.
yes,
Absolutely. And
exactly.
so now you're telling me that white people are the problem in South Africa. How is that possible?
Yeah, but maybe the white people in South Africa are not the problem, or some of them are, I think, and also some of the overseas white people are the problem, because all of these things are happening here. They either ignore it or they deny it. They're in a sort of a state of
Yeah.
denial, and
I
they
mean, they
just go
deny the
along
farm
with,
murders.
yeah, yeah, and they're
They
heaping
deny the farm
praise
murders.
on the ANC and Nelson Mandela and the
And
Rainbow
yet they
Nation
run
and
away.
democracy and so on, and they're denying all the real conditions that we are living in. Don't you think that? I mean, aren't
Absolutely.
these overseas whites to blame to some extent?
Yes, they are. I prefer people who just don't care what is happening in the country. They have a right not to care. But those who are just denying that this is happening to white people. I mean, I don't know if you know Katie Hudson.
Yes, I
Apparently,
do. Katie Hopkins.
she's the biggest. Yes, Hopkins. Yes. So I usually read whenever she speaks about farm murders in South Africa, and I get the vitriol. I read the vitriol coming from white South Africans being in denial about it. What's there to deny? Someone will say no, murders are the same. Townships have got more murders and all that. It's not the same. Township people are killed by township people. Farmers are killed by strangers who come to their properties uninvited. Of course, some of them are killed by workers who are aggrieved by something, but most times it's people who are coming from outside. And the way the murders happen, it, it's clear to me that the motives are not just to steal a cell phone, or the way the murders are orchestrated. It shows to me that it's been planned thoroughly, and these people are skilled in what they do, which is murdering and killing people or assassinating. I mean, to rape an old woman, to pour boiling water over someone after you've raped them, and still kill them. So it shows something much deeper than just I went there to rob the place. It's much deeper, and it's the hatred that is perpetrated by politicians.
Yes, I
As far as
agree
I'm
with you. I
concerned.
mean, there's a real problem in this country, an ideological
Mm,
problem, and also
mm.
there's a problem of hatred, because some of
I mean,
these
when Malema says that uh, he's not going to slaughter white people for now, what does that? What message is that sending to the population? Because he's got so much. He's got more than 2 million Twitter followers. And if people think what Malema says is to be ignored, then they don't understand security. They don't understand hate speech. And Malema gets away with it. Whether you go to South African Human Rights Council, when it's equality, whether it's equality court, he gets away with all these evil things that he says about white people, and it shouldn't be allowed. That's why I speak. I speak. I don't fear anyone. And as far as I'm concerned, a white person doesn't owe me anything. You didn't steal my land. I thought people were angry with me for saying that I'm not a disadvantage. I've never been disadvantaged as a black person. I mean, why would any black person feel disadvantaged after 1994? We no longer have laws that says that white people are more superior than us. So why would we feel disadvantaged? If the
yes, and I
ANC
think
wants to fix,
the foreign Africans who come to this country, they feel that this is probably the best country in Africa to be in, and uh,
and they create better lives for themselves and their families back home as well.
yes,
So why are black South Africans sitting by and just waiting for someone to do something for them, waiting for white people to create a better life for them? Why? It's because of what government says. It's because of what I mean. Even now, as a white person, you're not supposed to ask for funding, and yet you're paying your taxes. You pay your
yes.
UIF,
Are you're referring now to the fact that if you've got a small business as
the
a white
solidarity
person,
fund. Yes,
yes, and then you don't
yes,
qualify. For example, if you've got a guest house or something, and then
absolutely.
you can't get aid from the government or funds or finances to tide you over
I mean,
during this corona crisis. Whereas if you're a black business person, you get those funds.
Absolutely. And there was a story just yesterday about 90% of black workers who work in this hotel in Limpopo who have to be retrenched because they couldn't get funding to just help them through this period. Remember, Dan, this is not free money that they're giving you. It's just aid. You are going to pay it back.
Yes, it's a loan, essentially. Yeah.
So that's how deep-seated the hatred for white people is in this country. The minister, Mamuko, what is her name? Her name is Kubai, tourism minister.
Yes.
She says she is adamant that there's nothing wrong, and the courts have AfriForum tried to challenge that, and the court agreed with this racist minister. And I'm glad that case is going up. I think to SCA or Concord. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think they're launching an urgent application to the Constitutional Court.
Yes,
but
and
first,
it should be heard because we cannot continue being racist, and yet we say we don't want white people to be racist towards us. So that was the essence of the tweets that I sent.
Okay, well, excellent. Well, thank you very much, Unathi, for this fascinating conversation. And, I was interested also to hear something about your views on economics, and you're a free marketeer, it seems. But maybe we can leave that for a second interview sometime.
Yes.
It's been...
I mean, there's always more to say. South Africa is such a dynamic country, and it's amazing.
Yes, well, if you see all of our achievements, if you look at our infrastructure, and we did the world's first heart transplant in so many areas, we've got the...
And we have incredible people. That's why we're able to export skills. And it's causing a brain drain, unfortunately, for the health sector, especially the education sector, the engineering sectors, because South Africans are amazing people, and we're hardworking people. I mean, Jacob Zuma once said that South Africans are lazy. It's not true. We're hardworking people. We know how to build. It's the politicians in South Africa who are the problem.
Yeah, exactly. I fully agree with you there. I mean, even, all of them, the whole lot. Yeah. Well, yes, on that note, well, I thank you once again for this interview. Yeah, and let's carry the conversation forward. And thank you for everything that you are doing in bringing these issues to the fore. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks,
And everybody watching, don't forget to subscribe to the channel